All right, guys, welcome to What Do You Collect? So we're going to be talking Pokemon. We're going to be talking about Slam Magazine. We're going to be talking about physical cards. We're going to be talking about digital claw games. Guys, it's going to be a lot of fun. Stay tuned. What do you collect?
What do you collect? Show me your collection. You're my one of one. You're my kind of obsession. My big break.
All right, welcome, guys. How's everybody today? How we feeling? Here we go.
Great.
Yeah. Good. Thanks for making it. So we're just going to... Thank you, guys. We're just going to jump around. We could start right out talking about Slam Magazine with Austin Kent here. I know you're a big collector. Want to know just a little bit about how things are going over at Slam. What are some of the new things coming out and coming up for the season?
Yeah, it's definitely a fun time at the magazine. You know, the magazine, we just had our 30th anniversary, so it's like there's new things happening, but it's quite an established brand. The print magazine, which is what it was known for the first 20 years, has sort of evolved in this new landscape. And some of the most recent things that are really exciting for us is just how many people are, buying the magazine, not necessarily to flip through it like they used to do back in the day, but just to keep it mint, keep it as a collectible. And so over the last few years, we've really tried to lean into sort of helping guide the product in this way to actually really celebrate, Slam as a collectible. It's such at least on the basketball landscape, it's such a pop culture landmark that we really want to do our best to be able to present that in a way that collectors can, show them off. The whole purpose of the brand has sort of evolved and it's changing, and it's just a fun thing to be a part of. And it's really exciting to see, this magazine industry sort of morph into what I grew up, collecting cardboard in terms of getting these things graded. So it's a lot of things. I'm sure we can dig into them, but we've been offering serial numbered, embossed, special limited edition metal versions of the covers. So you can buy one off the newsstand, or you can buy a serial numbered limited edition version. And we've just seen more collectors grading them, more collectors buying and selling them, on secondary markets. And it's really fun to watch this nascent market sort of take shape. So I'm excited to chat about it with all you guys.
That's awesome. Yep. Oh, it's true. I've been seeing you guys at the trade shows. I was at Fanatics Fest. Saw, a whole booth you guys had set up there. It's just great to see, how many types of collectibles that are out there and how big these industries are going. As we know with the Pokemon cards, Sean, you want to tell us a little bit about another collectible, which is just obviously off the charts in these last coming years?
Yeah, of course. So particularly since the years of COVID, the amount of Pokemon cards that have been printed is just went absolutely through the roof. Obviously, during the pandemic, there was a reduction in resources. Factories were shutting down. Cards weren't able to print, and simultaneously, there was a surge in demand. And even right now, we're approaching the 30th anniversary of Pokemon, which is just absolutely insane to think. And we're sort of in a state where here in the UK and the US, Pokemon cards, you just cannot get hold of them. The days of kind of walking into a newsagents, a corner store, a grocery store, something like that, and being able to pick up a pack, they're gone for the moment. And I don't see this slowing down certainly before 30th anniversary. The wheels in full motion, and kind of going off what you were saying there about as a kid having these cardboard items, it's just a whole different ballgame. Thinking back to when I first started collecting these cards, something like this, like a PSA slab, it wasn't a thing to my knowledge. It wasn't something that I was considering. I used to keep these things in an elastic band in my shorts pocket, and here we are all these years later, where some of these cards are worth more than houses, and people were all of a sudden thinking of these things as investments and assets. And the days of cardboard to a certain extent they're been and gone. We're now looking at a completely different form of collectible, and it's exciting to be a part of it.
It's cardboard, and people use paper to buy them, or plastic. So I mean, listen, it's all it's just a great collectible as we've seen over the years. Just really for that 30-year span, as you're saying, just how far it's come is just amazing. Bringing us to our next guest, Andrea of Beezy.io. Just want to talk a little bit about, for example, these Pokemon slabs. Is this something that's related to Beezy that you want to tell us about?
Yeah, it is. It's been so interesting watching the evolution of not only collectibles, but how collectibles are bought, sold, and traded. And, BZ's at the forefront of that. So we are a platform that tokenizes the assets, put them on chain, but we really abstract the blockchain part out of it so that anyone can come on our marketplace or interact with the platform. We've seen devastating losses happen in the world of collectibles, whether we're talking about fires, floods, different natural disasters. And there's a real conversation around, self-security and self-storage. And I think when you do have that large of a collection, it's something that really needs to be top of mind, whether we're talking about insured value or where you're storing these assets. That's part of our conversation with BZ. Whether we're talking about Pokemon cards that are slabs, sealed product, we tokenized Labubus recently. We have, Grail sneakers. We're really a multi-category marketplace that caters to collectors in general. But, just the conversation around the evolution of how a collectible goes from consumer A to consumer B is continually evolving and ongoing and really, really fun.
That's true. That's awesome. We're going to come back to talk more of BZ and just some of the fun stuff you guys have going on there. And Mark, from My Card Post, you want to tell us a little bit about the amazing marketplace website you have, for collectors, by collectors, and exactly what's on there. As we're talking here with so many collectibles, I do know from your site there are just a ton on there. So thank you for joining the show, and just want to enlighten us a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have, kind of all categories of cards on My Card Post. So My Card Post it's a subscription-based markeplace. We're really building a community of collectors that can do any kinds of deals with each other. So, be it buying, selling, trading, multi-card deals, opening themselves up to the community that they're wanting to buy certain types of cards. And we're doing a lot of matchmaking between buyers and sellers, just trying to connect people together that want to do deals together. But it's just really interesting to hear about, you got 30-year history in Pokemon and Slam Magazine, and just how many things have like historical meaning to people and the different types of collecting that people want to do. I mean, I even did like a limited edition hoodie that had serial numbers on it recently, and I'm like, well, I'm going to preserve one as just a collectible, right? I mean, there's just so much in this space, and happy to be here, but it's exciting to see the different categories like kind of ebb and flow, and what has typically been very high in sports cards collectible. We're seeing all of these different categories of explosion, whether it be Pokemon or VFriends or just magazines. So it's pretty exciting times.
And as far as on My Card Post, there is a wide variety. I mean, pretty much what kind of collectibles are listed there right now that anyone could go on and take a look and maybe they could come across?
Yeah, anything. I mean, any sort of category of trading cards. So we focus on trading cards, right? So it's raw graded cards. There's some sealed wax on there too, but it's any category. So it's all major sports. Like I said, Pokemon, VFriends, Magic the Gathering, Disney, wrestling. You name it. If there's a collector for the category, they're on My Card Post right now, and we're only a little over 2.5 years since we've launched this thing. So we're still in the early days on our side here.
Okay. And is everything on the site graded, or is it again,
it's just like it's subscription based. So if you're a collector and you want to make deals with like-minded collectors, you can subscribe and list your cards. So whether they're graded cards or raw cards, any grading company, it doesn't matter. So all different.
Gotcha. And it's easy to contact other buyers on there, traders and sellers. Is it like basically just makes that an easier step just to get in contact? Because sometimes that's collecting physical. That's the hardest part. You could be completing a set and you have a limited amount of resources. You check your card shops, you check some shows, but if you can't find something, it's hard. You search in the internet, and is that something that it's easy to contact other collectors on My Card Post and just kind of get them able to see what they have in their collection?
Yeah, exactly. So we're doing a lot of things around that. I mean, first and foremost, you can list your inventory that you have available for sale or trade, and you can think of your, individual page on My Card Post as your home base, so it's like, hey, here's all the cards I have to move. It's a single URL that's dedicated to you. You can share that amongst any different social media channel or whatever it may be. And someone's saying like, hey, what do you have available? Like maybe you see a card on Facebook that you want to take down, and someone's like, well, I'd be open to trading, but what do you have? You could just send them your My Card Post link, and there's all your available inventory that someone can go look and browse and be like, well, I would make a deal for those 5 cards or whatever it may be. But we're also doing stuff around the personal collections. We're building a whole new space around giving people a place to upload their personal collection. These aren't cards that are for sale or for trade. It's just a way for you to kind of have and organize your own personal collection online, that you can keep private if you'd like for yourself, but also to be able to share publicly and to be able to browse other people's collections and engage in conversations around the cards and hear the story behind the cards, whether it be some sort of special moment with their kids or, some amazing Grail card that was pulled out of a blaster pack at Walmart. There's all these different stories out there. So giving people a place and a forum to tell those stories is going to be some pretty exciting, evolutions on the platform for us.
For sure. I love that as far as that's what brought me here at the moment. It's telling stories of collecting, why people collect certain things, some of the fun rips you've had, or discoveries in your in your life of collecting and your experiences. So that's great. It's great to share these stories and just kind of see what means something to one collector and maybe it doesn't mean anything to the next. It's just this is a great episode here where we're just combining so many different forms of collecting, which just to see it expand is great. Over the last couple of years, like we were saying, since COVID, there's just been, I guess, a reconnecting to these kind of collectibles that are out there. Austin, some collectibles with Slam Magazine, you have a personal favorite or something that of yours, with the limited mints that are out there that you collect and that you're excited about, maybe something coming out that people should be looking out for?
It's been very exciting. We've as basketball fans, as basketball collectors, it's been a very interesting few years with some of the recent players who've debuted on the scene. Cooper Flag, being all the rage this year, of course. But not long ago, we had Victor Wembanyama and we had Caitlin Clark. And so really, as Slam has leaned into making available these serial numbered mags, we've also just had these major headliners that have really, their name alone just injects so much excitement into the hobby, right? So to be able to not just pull like a limited, not just like to get your hands on a limited edition like Slam mag, but it's Caitlin Clark's first appearance on the sort of basketball, the preeminent basketball publication, the Basketball Bible, whatever you want to call it. Caitlin Clark's first time appearing on the cover of that. It's just such a significant moment for basketball fans. So it's kind of been neat to see all these things firing at the same time. We just started working, I think 2 years ago with CGC. They grade comic books, right? So I'm used to the world of PSA as a sports card guy. But I guess just by the nature of it being the magazine, it was the sort of comic book industry that started grading these slams. So it's a whole different grading scale. I'm getting used to 9.8s and 9.6s and 9.4s. It's different for me. But at the same time that all this exciting stuff is happening around Slam and around grading magazines in general, it's just been a great time to be a keen basketball collector just because of some of the personalities that we've now seen popping up. So.
Yeah, no, it's true. I know one of the early stories that I connected to Slam Magazine was a while back with 1996. I know I always remember with Allen Iverson, I believe being one of the first to be on Slam Magazine as a college player. As I know, usually it's from before that, it was all, professional athletes. But I think after someone from Slam saw him scoring 60 points in the second half of a game at Georgetown, was this guy has to be on the cover of Slam Magazine. I know it's a big collectible, that 96 one, because I think it was just an East Coast distribution or something like that, because they were orange.
It was a double cover. But Slam was always I started reading Slam when I was 9 years old. They've always been so ahead of the game at sort of identifying the players to watch, and in some ways kind of being the kingmaker to decide what the players to watch are. But we had Paige Beckers was on the cover of Slam in high school. She's just this gangly teen from Minnesota, and she was on the cover as a high school student. And so it's when you have a brand that can sort of make a statement like that, and then when it pays off, it's just really exciting, because now, instead of waiting, for somebody to pop up on the scene and they're already a professional athlete, you just have this classic from when they're, just so fresh on the scene. So Slam has had that with a couple of players. Obviously, I remember reading about LeBron James when he was in grade 10 or 10th grade, in the cover, in the pages of Slam. So it's really neat when you approach it just as a sports fan yourself. If you're hey, this Cooper Flag guy is going to go down as one of the greatest of all time, I'm going to go out and he declared that he was going to Duke on that
Yeah.
Slam cover. Like that's such a significant moment. Like,
Yeah,
so
really.
Peter Frank is your guy. Like
Press
that's
conference. I know that's
right.
crazy. Yeah, I said, what a press conference, that was. You're revealing your team bought Slam magazine. I mean, it's just, an iconic moment. That moment itself should have been on the magazine.
Right. So
It just goes to the cultural aspect of these collectibles, right? Like there's a significant story about that magazine, that cover, that moment that's going to last hundreds of years, and
Absolutely.
it's, that's what smart people are wanting to collect these things and preserve them, keep them in good condition, and be able to tell those stories for years to come.
absolutely.
Yeah. Very true. Going back to the 30 years about, as we were talking about with Iverson back in the 90s, we know the Pokemon cards, started, 30 years ago, as Sean was telling us. But I know he has a bunch of great YouTube videos out about, the Pokemon cards he collects and what's coming out. You want to tell us a little bit about like the new stuff that you said that has come out over the last couple of years, and just some of the values of them, where you would say, something maybe was meaningful 30 years ago, but doesn't necessarily translate to the value. There's some stuff that's coming out, in the last couple of years as, that basically could be worth more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back to the very early days of Pokemon, the very first set was called Base Set, and it was a very simple set at the time. It consisted of very limited amount of cards, what we call secret rares. Now in a set, you could be looking at about 80 secret rares to one set. Back then, you're lucky to see one or two in a single set. One of the sets that I remember vividly as a kid was the Team Rocket set. And it featured on the sort of bad guys within Pokemon, or the supposedly bad guys in Pokemon. And recently, Pokemon created another set, which is Destined Rivals, which we've got a box of here. And to no surprise, to be honest, this has been hugely popular. This released back in February. And here in the UK, and I'm sure it's the same in the US, is very difficult to get hold on. So retail price over here in the UK for a box of this is about £150. Translates to roughly about $220. And already for a set that's already in print, it'll continue to be in print for what I'd imagine at least a year, if not a couple. It's selling for in upwards of double the value, pretty much. And that's for a set that is still in production. There's no sign of it dying out just yet. Another set that was hugely popular back in 2021, and since then, is Evolving Skies. And one of the cards from that set, the sort of chase card from that set, is a card called Umbreon. And for just a raw copy, not graded copy, you could be looking upwards of $1,000, about $1,300 for a raw card. And there's cards from the base set, the first couple of years of Pokemon, that you could have a graded slab in a PSA 10, and they wouldn't reach anywhere near that value. And I think for that card in particular, that was almost unheard of, because it sort of introduced not just old school Pokemon cards that are no longer in production, but also more modern sets. And it's sort of brought them forward into the asset category, if you like. And we're now seeing people, every time a new set comes out, sort of making an informed decision as to whether they think this is a set that potentially in 10, 15 years' time, could it be worth something? And with Pokemon in particular, anything they've released over the past few years has actually gone up in value. Some take a little bit longer, some will go up a little bit quicker. But for the most part, there's not really a set where if you were to buy a booster box and hold on to it for a year or 2 years, you're going to get your value back from whatever you paid for that booster box, which is pretty insane, to be honest.
Wow, yeah, that's true. I mean, how many times you're buying a box and, you open it up, you get maybe a tenth of the value of what's in there. But sometimes, with Pokemon, it kind of seems like if you buy the boxes, might as well just hold on to them and just kind of see, what the market translates to. And I guess if it becomes something based on the rarities that's in there, the price could go up. There's so many times after a box has come out and you see that, okay, the couple of those grail items haven't been discovered yet. The price goes up because everyone's thinking, all right, I might get, that might be me who's the next one buying that box. So it's definitely a great tip to kind of hold out on some of those boxes if you can, because I know that sometimes when there's packs and boxes lying around and it's a boring night and you're looking at that box, I mean, anything can happen.
I'm that guy.
What I would say is, for something like this, like I got this sort of like plastic container to keep it in to kind of quell that urge of open it up, if you will. But like I just love the look of this set so much, and I know that the cards that are sitting on my desktop gathering dust probably won't look as nice as this box right now. So that also kind of keeps me
True.
holding on to the box as opposed to opening it.
You know what? They need to make one of those with like an expiration lock on that. You know, that way you can set it for like 60 days or something. That's what I might need one of those. But that's really cool. That's a great tip on that. And speaking of the graded Pokemon, Andrea, if you want to tell us a little bit about some of the big items that have been coming out of BZ, and for somebody who was maybe looking, for maybe not looking to buy a box, what can they do on BZ, as far as Pokemon goes, and some of the cards graded cards you have?
Well, it's a good lead into the conversation, because I feel like, when you have that box in front of you, it's the dopamine chase, right? It's like you're so desperate to not open it, but you so badly want to, because it's that moment of what if, right? Like, what if I get the hit? And that's kind of the activation that we built with our claw machine. Yes, we have, your standard marketplace where it's really easy to buy, sell, and trade your collection. I think what's really interesting is you don't have to worry about currency conversions. So if you're a US collector and you want to sell to a buyer in Tokyo, make it super easy and seamless. But the claw mechanic is our answer to any marketplace's cold start problem, right? It's like, how do you get people in the door as a startup, as a new marketplace? And the claw is filled with hits every day. It's 24/7. It's ongoing. It's all dynamic. So you can go in at any time and see what the chase items are in there, what the expected value is. I think the other day we were running like an EV of 57 on a $50 claw. So we like to change that up here and there and let the community have fun with it. But, recently we've had like Bubble Muse in there. We've had Pikas, we've had everything. You can go on and see the activity and what people are pulling, but it's just, I have so much fun when I'm kind of a fly on the wall in the team sourcing conversations and seeing, oh, this just went up like crazy in the last 30 days. We got it 45 days ago. We got a good price. Here's the margin. My business mind is happy. Right. But it's just, it's fun to find the grails that we know people are going to want and load the claw up with that. And we get a ton of feedback from our community. I think that's one of the things that separates BZ from, now GameStop and PSA's Power Packs or some of the bigger companies, is that it's a really tight-knit community. They've been building with us since day one. So they really have been able to give us great insight and product feedback. And a lot of the things you see on our platform are a direct correlation of conversations we've had with our community.
No, it's true. I love it's so much fun. I mean, the claw game just brings it back to, arcade style of, obviously randomizing what, your rip is going to be. You're basically pulling out, an arcade ball, out pops, your graded card. It's just a great process. And just really say, like, as a product, you guys did a great job with that. Like, it just brings, a lot of, creative and hard work you could see that goes into the experience. And, the experiences, are always those, unforgettable moments with collecting, who you bought your first pack with, who you did your first trade with, you kind of, those experiences stay with you with collecting. And, that to me is what's exciting about, a lot of the products. And with digital, and what's great about it with the digital and physical aspects, it's the way you can access the communities. And that's what's also great, Mark, with, My Card Post, is how you're able to keep a community online and at the same time collect physical. Because a lot of times before, that we were able to, your products that you guys have, you used to buy something in a, local hobby shop. Your community was the three kids sitting in there, or, ripping packs, and the guy behind the counter. Like that was it. It was hard to, like, you were one of them. I know, that's it. I think we all might have been one of them, but yeah. I think it's, it's something that, the community really, with the advancement of just the internet and as far as what your products that you have, is just great. What could you say about the community that's on My Card Post, and just kind of what they've been developing, and kind of saying, like, are the hot items, and basically how are they driving the product?
Yeah, I mean, I love Andrea's point about, you're building a community, you're growing a community, they're in it with you, you're building in public, you're sourcing their feedback, and like they want to be a part of it, and they feel like they're a part of this. What I aspired to build was basically, somewhat of a replication of the local card show experience, right? Where, you go, you meet people, you browse their tables, you get creative in the types of deals that you want to do. You're conversing with them about cards, you're finding like-minded people, you're making friends, and then you're building relationships that extend beyond just the cards. And so that's really what I aspired to build, was to try to, as closely as possible, right? I'm not, that in-person thing is, you can't 100% replicate it, but to be able to bring that experience as much as possible online was what we tried to do here. And that, just comes with the subscription model and the ability to unlock the ability for people to openly communicate with each other without any sort of restrictions, or, we all know the things that you're not supposed to be doing on some of the other marketplaces and stuff, around sharing, contact information, things of that nature. So yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of the same stuff where, we're continuously getting feedback and building features that our community is asking for. And it is interesting to see the different types of cards that ebb and flow. I mean, in the sports card world, it can be very dependent on the player's performance that week or that night, or an injury that sends their prices plummeting. I mean, it can get a little bit crazy with a player's real-time performance when you're dealing with the modern cards of current players. It's a little bit different when you're talking about like Hall of Famers whose careers have been written and things of that nature. And again, with Pokemon and some of this other stuff, I mean, they're the baseline is probably a little bit more consistent with the types of pricing variations that you see. So I mean, for us, it can be a lot of peaks and valleys with what sport is in season, what player is hot that week, and you'll see a lot of cards move during those moments.
And what have you seen kind of being the hot items with the collectibles this year, as far as, did any trades make anybody soar? Did, things like what stood out this year so far?
Yeah, the big card, I mean, it's case hits. I think we're all hearing about the downtowns, the uptowns, the kabooms, and, all these different kinds of case hits for these iconic players. These are the cards that are getting big money. That people are trying to buy, to not only for their own personal collections, but to include as chase hits in some of these repacks as well. So, those are a lot of the hot items that we see that have no problem moving in the marketplace, right? They almost can't keep on the shelf. So, you see a lot of, people paying premiums for those types of cards. Probably won't see as many trades for them, mainly because they're very liquid, right? So trading can often come into play when, maybe it's just kind of collector trying to find some sort of deal that works. I have some cards that I'm really not that passionate about, but you are, and you have some cards that you're not that passionate about, but I am. And, so we try to find, some sort of arrangement, either it be just cards for cards, or cards and maybe adding cash on either side to try to close the deal. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun. Every day is different in the hobby for everybody. And, it's just a lot of fun to watch.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's true. It's just it's great to see too, as the industry's just been growing, and just you see some of these turnouts and some of these sales. I mean, as far as you could, any average person, basically, even if they're not tuned into collectibles, you hear stories from the National, from Fanatics Fest, these large trade shows happening, throughout the United States. Sean, you want to tell us maybe a little bit about some of the shows and internationally, just some of the events that go on there? What's the kind of reception that you've been seeing over the last couple of years internationally with collectibles?
Yeah, so just as like a quick example, I went to a little card show in Edinburgh. It's roughly about this time of year. This was 2 years ago. And the room we had for that card show was maybe no more than like 200 or 300 people. This year they moved venue to it's more sort of like a gig venue, so like a music concert venue, like a hall in there in Glasgow. And they managed to get a couple thousand people. And next year they've already booked the venue for a stadium. And they're now moving to a conference room, or several conference rooms, in a stadium here in Scotland. And that's only over the space of a couple of years. That's one particular show. We've seen numerous other shows announced since. I think it's been proven there's a demand there. And Scotland is, a very small country with only 5 million people. And even up here, we have a bunch of collectors that will move all around the UK. They'll go to shows abroad. They'll go to shows in Europe. They'll come over to the States for shows. Myself and a few friends, we're going down to Cardiff in Wales at the end of September for a different card game from Pokemon. It's called Lorcana, which is a Disney card game. It's their own take on trading cards. And it's just absolutely insane. We went down to Birmingham last year, which is in the middle of England, for an event down there as well. And the amount of these events, not only sort of competitive events, but trade shows, hobby shows, and kind of coming back to what we've been talking about here, in terms of the reliability of trades. When you sell something, how do you know that your item is going to get safely to the location that you're sending it to? All these shows allow enthusiasts to interact with each other, they allow them to do these transactions in person. So they know fine well that when they hand over their PSA 10 Charizard that's worth however much, they know that it's there, they know that it's safe, that transaction's in person. They can be, rest assured that it's not going to get lost in the mail, it's not going to go missing. What happens if it turns up at the buyer, but they're claiming that it didn't arrive or something else was sent? There's so many different variables that, and I've experienced it myself whenever I've sold a card. And for the most part, 9 times out of 10, everything will go smoothly. But being at one of these shows, it allows you to just operate on a totally different level. You can go on with a totally different state of mind, and it's just a lot more comfortable for people like myself when it does come time to maybe you want to collect a different thing, and there's a few things that you'd be quite happy to part from your collection in order to achieve that goal. And those are the places now where you'll do that, in my opinion.
It's true. Yep. I know it's as far as, purchasing in person, it's just easy to kind of see exactly what it is. But some things also, you still, sometimes you worry about the authenticity of it, but buying a graded card, I think it just kind of takes away a lot of those fears and some of those doubts. Internationally, what would you say as far as at these shows? I know, are they just strictly Pokemon, or are they also sports as well? And who are the biggest sports people that are being collected over there? Is Wemby in the NBA a big one? As far as being from Europe, just kind of who do you see it kind of lighting up the shows?
So the great thing about the shows that have been so recently is it's now, Pokemon was definitely, at least over here in the UK, it was a big one. They started off as, not Pokemon specific shows, but a large part of the market there was Pokemon related. We're now seeing a lot of tops. There's a lot of tops over here. Tops tend to have like their own stall and things. We're seeing a lot of stickers as well. So soccer stickers, basketball stickers are now a thing. American football stickers are now a thing, and football cards and football slabs and everything. And I think it's just coming with the expansion where we're going to these bigger venues all of a sudden. It's no longer this tiny little room in Edinburgh. It's massive conference rooms filled with thousands of people. And like myself, although Pokemon is obviously a big interest for myself, I collect Lorcana, which is also a Disney card game. I'm quite interested in looking at various other things like Magic the Gathering, which is, again, huge. They have so many different collaborations. They have a Marvel one that's coming up very soon this year. And for someone that's never played Magic the Gathering, for me, that piques my interest, to say the least. So that's something that, I'd be potentially interested in. And that's the beauty of these card shows. There is just so many options. One of my friends that was with us the recent show in Glasgow, they were going for some Magic cards. And I think it was only 3 or 4 cards they were looking for their deck, and they were able to pick them up there. There's just so much choice. With Lorcana, there were some of the artists that designed the art from the cards that were there, so you could get some of your cards signed. And yeah, it's great to be a part of it.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's great. It's just fun to hear all the different, types of collectibles that are just coming, basically full force over the last couple of years. Maybe a decade ago, 2 decades ago, I recall, physical cards, figurines, as far as like starting lineups and bobbleheads. These are just some of the different items that were out there. Maybe bottle caps, but basically, like that was it. It's like now with just the gaming, the gamification of things. Which brings me to something that really got me into digital collectibles with NBA Top Shot. It's basically just like video highlights from your favorite NBA players. And NFL All Day is the same thing for football. It's just highlight video reels, and they're minted. They're easy to purchase, just straight through the website, which is how I go back some years with Austin. I know you were a big collector as well. And as far as just being, at the forefront for a lot of the NBA Top Shot stuff over the years, you want to just tell us a little bit about those digital collectibles, and is that something that you're still into, and you just, your appreciation for those communities, and what experience you have with that?
Yeah, I mean, it was fascinating just to be a part of those early days. I think you mentioned like that 2020, 2021, I guess across the board in collectibles, but especially in the digital collectible space, which, for the most part didn't exist essentially before then. So to be a part of that, like wild ride, was very interesting, very entertaining. But no, I I still watch very closely, the space, digital collectible space, and NBA Top Shot, of course, in particular. I'll always have a soft spot having, been involved. But it's interesting to kind of grow up in the physical space and spend some time in the digital space, and now be back in the physical space, because there's some times where I'm like, I'm just trying to look for maybe secondary market data. And I kind of feel like I was spoiled. I'm like, I used to be able to just check this on the blockchain and it was done in like 5 seconds. But now I got to, put all these, like, I'm on eBay, I'm on 130 point, I'm all over the place trying to track this down, and like, I think it was mentioned, even just you don't have to worry about the security part necessarily if what you're getting is what they say you're going to get, just because it's just authentic and verified through the blockchain. Those, to me, it's just it's so compelling. Those, like, the value prop of digital collectibles, like the problems that those solve. So I'm just excited to see what the future has in store for digital. And it's funny now that I'm like back in the physical world. I didn't realize like how much, like, there was stuff like that I was missing when I was just dealing with digital. So I think maybe the happy situation, I guess, for everything but my wallet is to be in both.
It's true.
There's like, I can put like a graded, like, Slam magazine just on my wall, and it's like equal parts like art, and it's also like a collectible. Like, I've got this like old, like, Kobe Bryant cover, like, graded. So it's kind of like, it's an investment in a collectible, but it's also art that I can just stick on the wall of my office and it looks cool. So to sort of get that from the physical world, but then, we talked about, like, the dopamine, to be able to move fast. I just watched somebody get their career high. I want to go buy something and have it instantly. And, like, to be able to do that digitally is so compelling. Because, maybe I want to buy it and sell it in a couple hours. Like, we're all degenerates, right? Being exposed into the digital world, I think, makes that sort of activity, like, easier, which I think is a really compelling part of it. So it's fun to be in both worlds and sort of have that context, personally, for me.
Absolutely. And talking just about, like we said, the purchasing on the blockchain, built on the Flow blockchain. And that's also something that now is accepted over at BZ. Andrea, you want to tell us a little bit about what the behind, the blockchain, and behind some of the payment forms and things that are accepted, through the site, and what's coming up with that?
Yeah, we're built on Flow. They've been a great partner. Obviously, there's a ton of incredible IP on that chain, whether we're talking about Disney or NBA, NFL, Ticketmaster. They've truly been at the forefront of consumer crypto since before that became a term or a meta on the timeline. One of the pieces, and Austin, when you were just talking, I started thinking, I think one of the really interesting benefits of being on chain is the ability to tell the story of your collectible, right? So if I bought a specific slab from, a collector that is widely known, there's a story to tell through that. I think we saw that in, the last, like, NFT cycle when you were talking about Top Shot, where if you bought something that Franksy or one of those OGs had originally minted, there's a story to tell. And when you're able to verify that story because of an on-chain footprint, that makes it even more interesting. And I believe wholeheartedly that we're going to see a lot more physical collectibles on chain in the way that BZ is doing it. I think Flow as a partner also believes that. I talked with the Top Shot team about that as well. I think there's just going to continue to be a blend, and it will become more and more seamless for collectibles, whether we're talking about digital, physical, or a combination of the two. With BZ for the last 6 months, we've really had Web3 as our playground. And so you weren't able to access our platform if you weren't crypto native. We were able to get great product feedback. It's sort of our Web3 native team. So it's the space that we were really comfortable in. 2 weeks ago, we just turned on Web2 payments, which is really exciting because now we can tap into a much broader market. So you can come on the site now and sign up with your email, pay with your credit card, Apple Pay, Google Pay. We'll be integrating an off-ramp into Venmo soon. So we've got a lot coming up that, again, abstracts the blockchain on the parts where it might feel like it's added friction, and then really highlights the blockchain and the parts that make it interesting and give you a story to tell.
That's true. That's a great. I mean, it's just so accessible, and with the blockchain, it's just great that something I've always been interested in is seeing the transaction history, where sometimes with collectibles, you really don't, have a clue if you find something or where it came from, where it was. But something with the digital aspect, you could always see that footprint. You kind of could see where a collectible moves from, one user to another. Just basically see how it was purchased or was it pulled out of a pack. Just to have that transparency is something that's really cool with the blockchain capabilities. Is that something with BZ that, like, for the future, do you see as far as like a roadmap or what you guys are looking to do, within the next year or two, anything that is being added to the platform, or possibilities of what could happen?
So much. So, I mean, this could be
I know.
a whole other show if I'm sure with all of us, if we start talking about roadmap items, forget about it.
Yeah.
For us, it's really bringing more people on chain without force feeding it to them and introducing some of the benefits. It's been really amazing to watch Web3 collectors kind of tap back into their Pokemon roots, and become collectors again in that way. And, we have people that start out with the claw and then they're hunting on the marketplace. And then a couple weeks later, they're redeeming the physicals from our vault and posting it on their socials. Like, thanks, BZ, for the package. That makes me so happy. I think that that's sort of the perfect world. For me, obviously, I'm a female CEO, I'm a woman. And so one of the things that I'm really excited about is when you really look at the data around blind boxes and claw machines and gotchas, the primary driver and buyer of these activations in real life is women, right? When you're looking at the content on TikTok around unboxing, whether it's Labubus or Crybabies or something else, it's females. So what I'm excited is to create these sort of like female leaning activations that target that real collector and buyer and consumer in the real world and kind of introduce them to the mechanic on chain as well. I think that'll be a ton of fun.
That's awesome. That's great. I'm excited to see what comes up with BZ. It's just, I know the early stages of a lot of what you guys have. I know you've obviously been at work for a while, I'm sure, to get it to where it's at, just because, it seems like it was a, complex site to get up and working and running, just to have, as it has so many, functionalities to it. So I'm sure the hard work, is still to come, but, definitely
feels like it's taken a few lifetimes to get here. When you talk about just like the vaulting partnerships, the AI authentication partnerships, bringing all the inventory in, it's the build, the tech build, the modifications along the way. It's been the most challenging and most gratifying thing of my entire career, I can say.
Yeah, listen, it's a show. I mean, I come from a little bit of a theater background. I mean, you know how long rehearsals are, dance steps, choreography. You're opening up for one night, and that's it. The show could close the next night. I mean, the time you put in doesn't necessarily, always is recognized by the audience. But sometimes when you're up there on stage, you go, "Oh, finally, opening night," and that's it. We got the show going. But that's great. And Mark, if you want to tell us a little bit about just some collector stories, or just some of those fun, basically, if you heard from what collectors have purchased, or what they have said about being on my card post that just, really made you happy, or just glad to hear about the experience from the collectors.
Yeah, I think it comes down to relationships and the friendships that people are making through the platform. I mean, being able to,
What's hidden within? What do you collect? Oh.
All right, this is What Do You Collect live from New York Comic Con. We're checking it all out today. We're coming to see the anime, Pokemon, Tamagotchi stuff, cards, collectibles, tops. Check it out. New York Comic Con. Here we go.
What do you collect? Show me your collection. You're my one of one. You're my kind of obsession. My big break, my case hit. Open up and show me what's hidden within. What do you collect? Oh. What do you collect? Ooh. Flipping through your comics, hand-drawn heroes in hand. Pokemon, magic, V-friends from across the land. Graded gem slabs, she's my number 10. Tell me all your stories, I'll start you up again. Secrets in your binder, treasures in your room. Every little sticker, every little cartoon. What do you collect? Show me your collection. You're my one of one. You're my kind of obsession. My big break, my case hit. Open up and show me what's hidden within. What do you collect? Oh, what do you collect? Ooh, what do you collect?
This segment is brought to you by NBA Top Shot. All right, this is What Do You Collect? Here we are from New York Comic Con. Guys, what are we thinking so far? You guys dressed up here with a great costume. Here we go. Yeah, you guys had some good burgers here or what? Of course. Yeah. All right. What'd you see? Any favorite collectibles? Anything you saw that you really just loved?
Well, so far for me, I think I'm starting to become a pin collector now because I see somebody pull out a Yu-Gi-Oh book, Pokemon book full of pins, and I was like,
Uh-oh.
I might have to get in on the way.
The physical pins? These are actual.
Yeah.
And how about you? How about yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, I like to collect the lanyards and the bags. I like all the free swag stuff. So
All right.
the free is for me.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good stuff. And out of the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, you said, what else you guys been a fan of? Comics or just anime or Pokemon? What do you guys saw us?
For me personally, it's a big thing. I like almost all of this stuff. So I like coming to see I usually come for specifically what the people are wearing, the costumes and stuff like that, because you never know what you're going to find. So somebody who was dressed as Kwame from Captain Planet, like how did you see stuff like that?
Yeah, some unique
Forrest Gump, that
Forrest Gump,
dude, that I was crying for hours laughing because he's actually really running around here.
Right.
Like, yeah,
all right,
full beard,
Full thing, yeah.
everything. That was
awesome.
amazing. But I'm a big anime dude myself, so you know, we just try to come in like bring the old school '90s feeling, you know.
I love it.
And when people see us, and then once I bring out the voice, they're like, "Dude, what is going on?"
That is
so
awesome.
every time you see somebody walking by, they're like, "Oh, it's good, bro." I'm like, "Yeah, welcome to Good Burger." And then, you know, but everything, all the collectibles is it's really nice. Yeah.
So for me, on Thursdays, I like to go around and try to figure out what collectibles are here. So that way, anything I don't get on Thursday, I try to get it Friday. Because Thursday and Friday, after that, it's usually gone.
Yeah,
so I try to get everything Thursday.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Also want you to check out, there's a thing called Disney Pinnacle Pins. I know you said you like pins, right? Since you mentioned pins. Basically, they're digital. So all your Disney characters, Pixar characters, as you know, Disney also has collectible pins. So these are digital versions that they're very limited. And they're just brand new coming out. So take a look at them. You guys let me know what you think. And I appreciate you giving us your time here today. Sure. Enjoy the comics. Just taking a look here what we got in New York Comic Con.
So we are here with our booth for Geeky's Workshop. We sell a lot of D&D themed, kind of everything. We have dice, which is where we originally started out at the very beginning. This was a hobby that turned into a business that expanded to have tea, which is what makes up the bulk of what is on the wall behind me and obscured by customers right now.
Very nice, very cool. And what's some of the different teas that you offer? Where's it from? What are some of the flavors?
Yeah, so we I try to have like a pretty good breadth of offerings. We got your very standard, green, black, white teas. I've got rooibos, I have herbals, I have ones that are a mix of all things, and I have a handful that have yerba mate in them for the people that really need a little bit of caffeine to get going in the morning. Tons of different flavors. I try to have something for everybody.
Sure.
So which is why there's like 30 plus on the wall right now.
All right. Some of those high caffeinated for those long D&D games that go on for hours into the wee hours of the evening. And
absolutely. Or even just like for those of us that are working at a convention and need to be on our feet all day.
All that too. How did your company start? And what was it? Was it with the dice?
Funny enough, like before we got into D&D, I actually was looking at dice making as like a resin artist, like an avenue of like doing resin art. We started playing D&D after that, and the tea came from me picking up another hobby, getting way too into it, making gifts out of it, and then just not stopping with all the recipes I was making. So that was such an easy addition to like expand into, and obviously it made it so that this is possible. We have our tavern style booth. It draws a lot of people.
Great, that's drawn me here. So it looked very appealing and just right into that D&D playing feel, which is really nice and inviting. Same with the packaging to the teas that you guys have. Just thought it was really cool. And some of the custom dice that you have, just what are some of the styles and qualities that they are? Is it resin and what, a die cast?
Yeah, so the dice that we make, the handmade dice, we use an actual like resin. Everything is made by us from start to finish, including the 3D modeling that we use to make the masters that the molds get made from, and we cast the dice from those molds. Start to finish, even down to like the last polishing, the last inking, is all done by us. That is the handmade dice. We do a bunch of different styles. I like to emulate like natural materials, so I've got one that's kind of like magma themed over here. I've got a mother of pearl set that I emulated. And we also have dice that we worked with Norse Foundry to get made. They're my cathedral style dice. I have like a stained glass style and a Starry Night. So we have those as well if you're looking for like a glass or gemstone option.
Awesome. And then where can we go to find out more information and order custom dice or whatever you have? Where can we find out more about it?
The easiest place to find, the backlog of like everything that we've ever made and put online, even though it's been a hot minute since we used it. Instagram, we're Deacon's Workshop. We do also have our own website, which is deaconsworkshop.com, and that is where you can find all of our teas. It's where you can find our glass and stone dice. It's where you can find our mugs that are character sheet mugs that you can write on like a whiteboard,
Very cool.
among other things.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We're playing, talking about some collectibles, what they got offered here at the NECA Vault. So what brings you here to New York Comic Con?
Obviously, just displaying all of our new greats, and like you mentioned with the Vault, this weekend we were taking some of our old fan favorites out of the Vault for attendees and people at home on the NECAstore.com to get some of those back into hands of collectors, and as I just said, show off some of our new favorites coming out.
And what are some of the top collectibles and favorites that you guys brought with us today?
So our two kind of main lines are our Ultimate Horror action figures and our Ultimate TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures. With Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we do everything from the 87 cartoon, the 90s live action movie, the 2012 animated cartoon. We also do all the comics, so Mirage Comics, Archie Comics, IDW, lots of TMNT. I'm probably forgetting more. And then in the horror realm, we love our horror. That's how we started as an action figure company. So lots of slashers, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Ghostface, Terrifier is one of our newest ones. We have tons of ultimates of them. Pennywise with the new Welcome to Derry show coming out this month. We also do Predator, Alien, a lot of nostalgia. So our Ben Cooper Trick-or-Treaters, Pee-wee, Elvira, Alf we've done, dinosaurs, gargoyles.
And what are like the mints on these? Are they limited or is there open runs? What a little bit about like that and the price range on some of those limited ones that you guys have?
Sure, yeah. So our main three form factors are our toonies, which are more of the casual collector stylized figurines. They are usually between 15 and 20. Our Ben Coopers are around 20 to 25, and then our Ultimates are usually around 36 to 37.99. And then of course your deluxes, your dios, your vehicles, things like that. Yeah, price point, we're obviously on par with other collectible companies. And so we do everything. We have our wide releases. We online, thenextstore.com, all your favorite online retailers, Target, Walmart, all of your big box stores. And then we also do exclusive runs, whether it be a store exclusive like our blood-soaked Art the Clown from Walmart, or whole store exclusive lines like our 87 TMNT is exclusive to Target in the US. We also do limited runs on thenextstore.com. Our street scene dios, our TMNT dioramas, things that are too large to fit on shelf at retail, we'll do as a limited run direct on our site.
All right, I appreciate it. And where can we find out some more information on everything?
You can follow NECA Official on Instagram. You can follow NECA Toys on Facebook, or you could go right to thenecastore.com and see everything we've got for sale and pre-order.
All right, Blaine, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Welcome. My
Thank
pleasure.
you. Thank you. New York Comic Con. We're here with some of the biggest fans over here so far of Comic Con. They're dressing up. They're going all out. What are we thinking so far?
It's a lot, but it's a lot of fun.
Oh, is this your first time? First time you made it here or what? No.
No, this is our 6th year.
6th year.
Yeah.
So you put in this effort every year? You go all the way?
4 different costumes every day.
4 different costumes every day? Wow. All right. So this is all right. Maybe we'll come back the rest of the weekend and we'll just kind of just see what else you guys have. All right, cool. Well, it'll be like a little flip book. We'll see them all those different costumes throughout the weekend. So just what are some of your favorites? What brought you here exactly?
It's a really nice community, honestly. We really enjoy cosplaying. I usually like to get books signed by authors, Pokemon cards, plushies.
Did you find any authors, any signatures, any meet and greets?
I missed out on the George R.R. Martin one, but there's always another time. So.
And how about for yourself? If you don't mind, when you are through with the snacking at the moment, we can continue on and see what some of your highlights of the day. Besides the chips.
Honestly, just the cosplay and meeting people, and you just never know what you're gonna see here. You think you've seen it all, and then it just keeps coming.
Oh, what's the craziest thing you've seen so far today? Come on, what is this?
The Galactus.
Galactus? What is this?
Well, they're like 8 foot tall.
8 feet tall, and what did he consist of?
I mean, it was like comic accurate Galactus with LED lights and everything.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Battery packs and all, or whatever?
Yeah. His eyes were glowing. Yeah, that was cool.
I saw a sexy gothic Megamind.
Megamind, wow. Sexy and gothic Megamind.
So you never know what you're going to get.
Interesting, okay. What else did you guys see as far as collectibles? Did you see something that stood out and you were like, I wish I had an unlimited credit card right now so I could pick this up?
Everything.
Okay. All right. Everything. All right. Come to Comic-Con, guys. Buy everything.
Spend all your money.
All right. Beautiful. All right. Anything that you saw, you were like, all right, maybe if I could next time, I'll pick this up.
There's like a booth here that has little, I don't know what they're called. It's kind of like an emoji looking thing with Marvel characters, and they have the dumpsters on fire and the pizza rats and all that.
Oh, nice. All right. So real custom art stuff. All right.
There were sexy rats.
Real high-end stuff.
All right. High-end stuff, sexy rats, pizza. This is something. What you got? Comic-Con guys? That's it. Forget your trips, your vacations, whatever else you're doing. You got to come here and check this stuff out. 6th year in a row over here. That's cool. Anyway, what do you collect? Galactic toys here at New York Comic Con. How are we enjoying the first day so far?
We're exhausted.
I'm sure. Sorry, we're just going to keep you here for a couple minutes. Just want to talk about the craze of Labubu and all the characters and toys that you guys have here today. What are some of your biggest sales, and what are you most excited about showing the fans here?
V4 has been performing off the charts. We opened up a lot of the individual letters and numbers so that people can get exactly what they want. It's been doing really, really good. We're really excited for it. V3, big into energy, has always been the #1 Labubu, still on top.
Awesome. And do you want to give us a little history, or exactly for those that are new to the Labubu craze, where did it come from? Just kind of what are the versions and a little bit of the breakdown of what they're looking for if you're going in as a new buyer.
Yeah, so Labubu's created by Pop Mart, a Chinese company. We started just a few months ago personally, but it's been around for a little bit now. Social media is its main vector. I've seen Cristiano Ronaldo walking around with one, and I'd say they're paying the right people to wear Labubus at the right times.
That's true. Very true. And what are some of the hottest ones that you've sold or that you've come across?
We've been selling a lot of the secret from V3, which is ID or ID. And we're pretty much sold out by the end of the day today.
Wow, it's fantastic. And as far as where we can find more information, and say if you're sold out and people want to get in, do they just keep checking to see if you have any in supply? Where do we go to find that?
GalacticToys.com. I mean, we've been in business for 10 plus years now. We got 3 retail stores in West Michigan, big online presence.
And what are some of your other collectibles that you sell besides the Labubu that's going on? I know you guys started with a lot of other collectibles. So
well, we originally started with a Funko. You can still find a few Funko Galactic Toys exclusives out there. We do a lot of TCG, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, model kits, Bandai model kits especially, Warhammer. If it's nerdy, we've probably sold it at one time or another.
Okay. And where do you see some of the trends going? Obviously, we just collectibles are just booming as far as the older crowd, the younger crowd. Where do you see some of the items that you sell going to? Like, what age market do you think are really turning on to collectibles for the first time? And what market has been collecting for a long time and is still faithful?
I see a lot of 8 to 15-year-olds that are starting to get into collecting Magic cards who have never even thought about it before. Like beforehand, they know Pokemon really well, but they never really thought about Magic the Gathering singles as a collectible. And now they're kind of realizing, oh, these have value too. I can resell these as well.
Okay, yep. And do you see like a lot of parents or aunts and uncles coming in with the younger generation and trying to explain it to them, and a lot of that nostalgia as well with some of these collectibles coming back?
For sure. The best part, whenever I'm in the store and I can see a father walk in with his son and he's teaching him how to play the Pokemon TCG, brings a tear to my eye every day.
Oh, very nice. All right. Well, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the rest of the Comic-Con.
Hey, we appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
What are some of the fun things you've seen?
This is the most awesome thing I look forward to every year. And I have lots of New York Yankee baseball tickets every year.
Oh.
But coming to the New York Comic-Con is the best event every year. And whether you collect comic books or not, on the other hand, if you buy the right comic books a few years ago, you don't have to work for a living.
Yeah.
But most people didn't figure that out. It's too late now. You got to hit lotto to do what I said now.
No, I know. Some of these prices are really
well,
jacked
they
up after
are.
the 2021.
They are what they are, But things came down to reality after COVID. If you bought comic books during COVID, it'll take you a long time to get that money back if you resell. Like, for instance, the first Wolverine sold for $146,000 2 years ago on Comic Link out of New Jersey. If you try to sell that now, you'd get about 60 to 70 grand. See, that's the negative, but you can't keep somebody like Spider-Man down.
That's true.
The first appearance of Spider-Man. See, people are depressed because their comic. I didn't buy anything during COVID. I'm not depressed. I paid $4,000 for my first appearance of Spider-Man. Here at the Comic-Con a few years ago, Amazing Fantasy 15 graded a 6. And the last graded 6 just sold last month on Heritage Auctions for $81,000.
Jeez, that's something. Are you still holding on? You're keeping
Unless
that?
I want a new Corvette. I'm not.
You can rent the Corvette for the day and still keep the comic.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. No, I don't need to. I'm not gonna sell that. I'm a Spider-Man freak. Well, I understand how a lot of people, if you go on YouTube, on the podcast there or whatever.
You mean like on What Do You Collect?
Well,
you're going to be on that.
Well, I know. But if people that bought comic books during COVID are depressed. I didn't buy during COVID.
Yep.
Because those books will take a long time to come back to where they should be. Everything came down to reality after COVID. But you can never go wrong with Spider-Man in the long run.
So is that your go-to? You say Spider-Man as far as anything new that you saw that you might say, you know what, this could be good to get into?
Buy any copy of Amazing Fantasy 15, any grade that you could afford, and hold on to it till you really need the money. You'll definitely make money in your future. Keep it for when you need a car or something like that.
Very cool. Or a wedding.
Or a wedding. No.
Yeah, that's it. No. It ain't worth trading away for that.
No, I was engaged. I chickened out of getting married. I'm living the life with the comics and stuff. So I'm happy.
Listen, that's it. You hold on to what you enjoy, what you like, and every collectible has a story for those that mean something to you. So.
You got it.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks so much. The collectible so far. What do you think of New York Comic Con?
New York Comic Con's great. I've been going for the past 20 years.
Nice.
I've been going here since the early 2000s when they brought it back. It's been a really great time every year, getting new stuff, seeing different things, and just taking in the culture.
And what brought you here exactly? You were saying that you were looking for something specific?
Well, mainly specific. I mean, comics have been very, very important in my family. My dad taught me to read with comics at a very early age. And now as I've grown up, I'm a teacher for special education in middle school, 6th grade, and going with media and structured things that they need, especially with the hobbies the kids like. I want to make sure that I can find things that really engage them and that are relevant to what we need to do. But anything, their eyes light up and they love this stuff and they were excited. I tell them I'm going today, I'll get them stuff. And so anything that helps, that's the main thing, because they're important and I want to make sure that they get whatever they need to do their best and set them up for a future.
That's awesome. Did you see anything nice, something new that impressed you?
Yeah, I'm happy that for once Hasbro's here since 2011 because they have not been here in a long time and actually got something I wanted from the Transformers stuff, but G.I. Joe stuff was sold out. Gotta wait till tomorrow. Okay. But 4 days, so You keep trying. You got to be persistent.
That's it.
And it's just, it's great. Like one thing I always say that my dad complains about too with the stuff. He wants more comics. It's like the ratio has gone over 50-50, and it's like 30% comics, 70% media now. Like one more reading.
Yeah.
Reading's great and something we need to keep making sure that people do and enjoy.
Right. Have you gotten to the digital comics at all, or are you mostly just physical?
I try to do physical because I like something in my hands. As early as time has changed, and we do have to change into more digital literacy and structures, kids are reading digital all the time. But there's just something about having it in my hands, seeing it, smelling the book, looking what I'm doing. It makes me feel it. But if I can't read something, obviously I'm gonna go digital. But like I'm saying, my father wouldn't touch it. Right. Wouldn't touch it at all. And he hates compilations. It's got to be single issues, like 50 issues. What are you doing on anything? Any means necessary. I want that information. I'm gonna go for it, and it's great. So. I started very early. I said I used to read, a lot of the Marvel ones, and I was an 80s kid. So G.I. Joe, Transformers, Thundercats, all that stuff. Read them as they keep going. Try to get other people interested in them, and just seeing where it goes.
And what's your biggest collectible that you would say comic that maybe you want graded, or have you got anything graded?
I have too much stuff in collectible structure, like just way too much physical comics, model kits, Transformers stuff. Biggest, I keep saying as a joke, I think I have one of the most complete Transformer figure collections in New York. So I'm not sure, but I got so much bric-a-brac and I could never really prove it because stuff's buried in my parents' attic that I have no clue where they are for the last 30 years.
We're gonna have to pay a visit this weekend.
Go through the wall of stuff. But I'm saying I'm proud of it because it's my experiences. It's not about the value, it's the emotional memories and things I got from it. And it's happy to show it to other people and just what I enjoy. But
what's the piece you can't get rid of? If you had to say I have to hold on to one piece out of my whole collection, what is it?
Of all collectibles?
All collectibles that you would find here at New York Comic Con.
Are you sure I would find it here? Because it would probably be like Amazing Fantasy #1 or Fantastic Four #1, like one of those really, really old comics.
Okay.
Super old comics. That's what I mean, like those types of things.
Okay.
But it's a memory because it's from my father, and it's more sentimental and valuable. There's some things you can't buy with money, and people are more important than the memories you make with them. On everything.
We got Beetlejuice and Lydia. What are we thinking so far of New York Comic Con?
Pretty good, man. We're all dead.
Oh, that's it. Listen.
I had a lot of fun today.
Awesome. What time did you guys get here? How long have you been here so far?
2 o'clock, right?
3. We got here at 3. We got here late.
Yeah.
And what's some of the cool stuff that you saw so far?
A lot of cool stuff.
Anything horror related. I'm a horror girl. I love horror stuff.
What was your #1 horror item that you saw? Was it a book? Was it a figure? Was it?
I'll show you. I bought this. I bought this.
Oh, this is great. All right, this is perfect. We got a live collectible coming out here at New York Comic Con. What the heck? Look at that thing. That is
I don't know where I bought it from, but
all right.
Yeah,
that is
I
so
bought
cool.
it.
All right, listen, that is great. Were you a fan of the new movie that came out?
I actually was.
All right. You
I had a kid.
You had a kid. All right, look at that. Who knew? Right? You had to wait. What was that 30-something years? But hey, listen, it was worth it. Was it worth the wait or what?
Yeah, the plan B didn't work.
Hey, listen, plan B, plan A. Yeah, as long as you're playing something, right?
Yeah.
But what do you think about the rest of the days? Are you coming down for any other collectibles?
I gotta go back to hell.
Oh, that's it. Back down.
Thursday.
That's it. You're taking the express ride down.
Got my number already.
What do we think here of this classic book? So we're just taking a look at the Babysitters Club stuff. Was it bringing back some memories or what?
I missed the Captain Underpants, man. You got
Captain
Dogman now.
Underpants?
It's Super Diaper Baby.
Look at this.
I'm a little old.
Dogman. What do we think? Is this you guys read this before or
I have not, but I've seen the movie with my son.
Oh, nice.
Our son loved it.
Yeah.
He was laughing hysterically at Dogman.
All right.
But I love Babysitter Club. I grew up watching and reading Babysitter Club.
That's what I think so cool about like the physical books. It's just something that you guys
nostalgic.
Exactly. You know it, and then you bring it on to the newer generation. It's just really cool to have, and a pleasure having you guys on today. So enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you. What Do You Collect podcast? We're here with Comics Exposure. I want to tell us a little bit about some of the cool items and comics you brought with us here today.
How you doing, guys? So, guys, we have a whole bunch of exclusives from you guys, from Pop Kill, Batman, Harley Quinn, Exquisite Corpses, the best and only Justice League. We even got Batman right here, a Batman foil done by the one and only Q Young guys, coming straight from South Korea. We also got Power Girl, his first Power Girl. He's a beautiful foil, guys, for you guys. Straight up, beautiful from head to toe with the blonde. So we have a whole bunch of stuff for you guys, different titles, different publishers as well, from Marvel's, DC.
Awesome. And what exactly are these comics that you brought? Are these custom? Are they new? What's
so these are custom,
our
custom exclusive, retailer exclusive to be exact. We go and do these from partner up with the publishers like Marvel and DC's and Image Comics, and we go and have submission to great artists like Ika Kyung, Yonax, Franco Tomaselli, and we ask those artists to do us a nice, sick cover. And they present it to you guys.
And what's inside of these actual
comics that's selling right now.
And these are custom covers.
Custom covers, yep.
It's really neat. And what's some of your most popular items, comics, and artists?
Well, right now, can I get that, Dex? Yeah. Right now, we got this one right here. Between this one and these Pop Kills, recently just been in Forbes magazine on the New York Comic Con exclusives. So this just been featured in Forbes. So this is definitely humbling. And this is our popular ones right now. We've done a whole bunch of other stuff, but these are definitely it. And I give you for a chance for you guys. These are done by the great talented artist by Sozo Micah and a new and upcoming artist, Yonax, Yonax, guys.
Awesome. And where do we find out some more information online, on social? Where do we find out?
So you can find us on social media, Comic Exposure, and online as well, comicexposure.com.
Golden Age Guru, where you located? Where you got a shop?
I'm in a greater Seattle area. I do it from home,
nice.
and I have a large presence on Instagram. I'm the same handle. And then I also jump on the YouTube channel, Comic Tom 101, and do a Hot 10 list there and a podcast as well, actually.
Oh, fantastic. Just want to talk about what kind of comics you brought with us here today, and what are some of your favorites that you brought along?
Well, like my name says, I'm primarily in love with the Golden Age, but I've kept a lot for myself, so now I'm trying to thin down some of the silver, bronze, mostly is what I focus on, the vintage stuff. And you'll see here, you got a great range. You have a lot of superhero. We have Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. Then you get some of the more obscure Golden Age titles from the 40s. And, that's just basically it. And I got to tell you that the big thing I'm really showing right now is PSA stuff, because I don't know, it's something different. I jumped in, they just started grading comic books, did 500 slabs, and now we're trying to mix it up. We got the blue, we got the red, and yeah.
That's awesome. And what are some of your favorites that you would say that you have sold, or some of your highest or sales that you have had recently?
I did sell the first X-Men #4. First Scarlet Witch, which went, it was a 7.5 white pager, really nice copy. That went for over 4K. It was a beautiful book. Looks like I might be selling my Crow 1 in a 9.8. It's a tough book. It's been in my personal collection for probably 15 years, but letting it go to kind of bring in room for other stuff.
Okay.
Kind of been jumping into the art market a little bit, so
and
that's
how about
a nasty bug when it bites you.
Some of your personal collections. There's one that you say that this is what I've collected, and how'd you get into comics? Was it something that just like as a child you're like, this is the one I'm holding on to forever? Or
I blame it on the 7-Eleven that I lived across the street from. Saw my first comic on a spinner rack, kind of fell in love almost immediately. I was probably 10 years old. I had a great comic book store. I lived in the LA area. It was called Golden Apple Comics. It was a pretty amazing store as a kid. And, I just fell into vintage stuff almost immediately. Found a price guide, loved the old stuff, and now I'm shocked to have some of the books that I do and feel grateful. But yeah, I live and breathe this. I don't wish comic dealing to anybody unless you love comic books. It's work. It's a lot of work.
A passion project here, and you're passionate about it. You got your fans over here today. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll keep following you. And where can we follow to see more of your comics and when you go?
Yeah, check out the podcast on Comic Tom 101, and check me out on Instagram, Golden Age Guru.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks so much. We're talking comics and coffee, right? This is what we got here today?
Yeah, it's Comics on Coffee. We're based out of Fort Myers, Florida. This weekend, we've got our Killer Croc Latte, the Horchata Lotta Flavor, and the Mocha Madness. We also have coffees of the day that we'll be doing every day, different flavors of the week, or different flavors of the day, double shots of espresso. We've also got some snacks that we'll be having. So, yeah.
And are these just collectible coffee? If you want to mind just showing us exactly where do we go and where do we buy some of this awesome collectible looking coffee we got?
Yeah, so we've got ground and whole bean on our website. Website is comicsoncoffee.com. We've got a QR code that if you are here at the convention, you scan this, it'll get you into a contest to win coffee for a year.
Awesome. This looks really cool. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. All right, so what are we thinking of New York Comic Con so far? And this is a birthday surprise. Are we here for your birthday or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you pick up? It looks like you got a bunch of stuff so far.
I got this Deadpool plushie with a unicorn and this cool Deadpool box.
Is this your favorite? I can tell by the costume. Is Deadpool your number one comic?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Have you seen all the movies and everything also?
I've seen Deadpool and Wolverine.
Okay. Did you see any collectibles here today that you thought that were just incredible? Something you haven't seen before?
I saw this like cool like action figure of Deadpool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, and how about for you guys? Would you see anything crazy that you just said like I wish I could pick this up today?
Yeah, I did. I actually saw. What did we see? I forgot the name.
We saw a lot of really cool
We
stuff
saw a lot
today.
of really cool stuff. I couldn't even name.
I saw a sword, and I was like, I would, if I had the money and I had the space in my house, I would have bought that.
It's gonna be a little difficult fitting on the subway on the way home, though.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And what's your favorite collectibles that you guys have picked up in the past? Anything that you guys say that this was my favorite piece or collectible that I have?
Well, I actually don't have a collectible yet myself. This is actually my first time coming to Comic-Con. This is all of our first times. And then I recently got her into anime, into Demon Slayer. But there's so many animes that I've been watching. But I'm pretty sure I'll be collecting some collectibles.
All right. And what's your favorite anime you've seen so far?
It's a little iffy between Dan 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 and Demon Slayer. I'm very in between with those two. Very my thoughts.
Very nice. Your first time here at New York Comic Con?
Yes, it is. Very first trip to New York in general.
Really? Okay, where from?
Yeah,
Where you
Orlando,
from?
Florida.
Wow, so you made it all the way here just for this?
Just to come see Laura Bailey from Critical Role, man.
Oh,
that's
nice.
my girl.
You want to show us what you got? What'd you pick up? Oh, that's great. How was she when you met her?
So sweet. She was like, I was hoping you were going to come see me from the group shot.
Oh, that's great.
The group shot actually made it onto their Instagram.
No way.
Yeah,
really?
they posted it on their Instagram story. So
and what have you been collecting so far? Have you seen anything that you loved or something that you really impressed with?
The book I want, they're sadly sold out. They said to come back tomorrow morning. I'm like, okay, I can run up here before my meetups to go do it. Fine.
That's awesome.
But so far, just the book. I haven't had much time to look around because I actually have to leave in a little while.
Okay. And what's your favorite collectible that you would say that you've seen or that you have in your collection already?
Probably my Funko Pop of Vexalia that Laura Bailey signed for me last year at SuperCon Miami.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah,
so you've been following. You've been trekking around
since I was 14. Yeah.
That's great.
So I have to.
That's awesome. All right. Thank you. So who are we here with?
My name's Matt Williams. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Same here. What brought you New York Comic Con? What's your favorite collectibles? What have you seen so far?
So I collect figures more or less. I also do collect. I do have like a variety of comic books as well, but I've been mostly figure hunting. And I was just at a booth named Toy Mandela, and they had a lot of like good anime figures and everything else for that.
Awesome. So anime is your number one collectible?
Yes, at the moment, yes, it is my number one.
And what's your best, your like most coveted anime collectible that you have?
Slifer the Sky Dragon. It's from a series called Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like over $200.
Wow. And is it a limited mint or what exactly is
it was limited at the time. I think they recently did a rerun for them, but like it was at the time it was limited.
Like a first run of that? Okay. And would you see anything new that you didn't know existed until you came here today?
So I was hunting for a figure from a series Digimon. They just had a new game came out. There's a character on there called Beelzemon. From like the old, I think the third season. It's the third season. And I found out that they actually had him over there at Toy Mandela, and it was I may go after it this weekend. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You may be coming back for that, or what? Okay. You got a pass for all the days to this event?
Yes, I do.
That's awesome.
Yes.
All right. And is this your first time, or you've been?
I've been coming here for like years. I've been here, like this is I think close to my 9th year here.
Awesome. Any other events that you go to for collectibles, or is this your number? Okay. Where else you find?
Anime NYC. I go to there's one that happens called MomoCon. It's in Atlanta, and that's basically all I've been going to so far. There's one in New Jersey as well they had, but those are the only ones I go to so far.
Awesome. Here today to New York Comic Con.
Well, I'm representing Scholastic, and we're like a family hub for Comic-Con. It's our second year in a row exhibiting, and we're just having a great time.
Awesome. And what you guys brought some amazing, the Babysitters Club is here.
God, iconic.
Some iconic books. I see so much
So
fun.
incredible. So next year is the 40th anniversary of Babysitters Club, but we're celebrating a little bit early. A replica of Claudia's bedroom. So we have memorabilia from Scholastic book clubs from the 80s, 90s. New graphic novels. It's just, and Anne Martin's here for the first time on a panel. She'll be here signing in the booth. We have exclusive giveaways. It's so much fun. It's
That's awesome. And as far as everything here is physical, you want to tell me about like some of the advancements over the years from the 80s? Have you guys have new additions or different illustrations?
We do. Well, who else is here is R.L. Stein, creator of Goosebumps. We have a new series called House of Shivers, which is just out last month. It's on a panel. We have a new graphic novel for Goosebumps. First one was called Monster Blood, the first book. We have The Haunted Mask coming out, I think, next month. So, and Animorphs, we're reissuing Animorphs in graphic novel form as well. So a lot of like Blast from the Past coming out for a new generation of readers, yeah.
That's awesome. I love to see some of the, transition from the older, parents who are out there now buying books for the kids or family members, and you're looking at it, you say, wait, I know this, and then
I read them.
Yep,
So it's like, now I'm like marketing them. It's really special. I have the best job.
That's awesome. And anything new coming out, you say for next year, something that you might say like as far as, are there any digital books or everything is physical still with Scholastic?
It's still physical. We have audio. We have digital components. We just announced recently the Captain Underpants manga edition, which is really excited. That comes out next April. It is. That's big news.
That's different. Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of stuff that's here on sale. We have Finance of Freddy stuff. Just tons of variety and
What do
diversity
you
for a lot of
collect?
kids and age groups.
Show me your collection. You're my one of one. You're my kind of obsession. My big break. My case hit. Open up and show me what's hidden within. What do you collect? Oh. What do you collect? Ooh. Flipping through your comics. Hand-drawn heroes in hand. Pokemon, magic, V-friends from across the land. Graded gem slabs. She's my number 10. Tell me all your stories. I'll start you up again. Secrets in your binder. Treasures in your room. Every little sticker, every little cartoon. What do you collect? Show me your collection. You're my one of one. You're my kind of obsession. My big break. My case hit. Open up and show me what's hidden within. What do you collect? Oh, what do you collect? Ooh, what do you collect?